Thank you, Dr. Kelly. We're so pleased to be here tonight with all of you to share the stories and experiences of our students in the RHS Outdoors Club. So, I'd like to start with a story that I call Gerald and the Mountain. In the fall of 2016, the Outdoors Club took its first trip to Mount Monadnock, a well-known peak in southwestern New Hampshire. The hike requires about 2 hours of uphill, strenuous hiking, topping out in a rocky dome right at the top. And on that day, dozens of hikers were celebrating their achievement of getting to the top. These same hikers gazed at our group with a rather curious look. So moments later, while Gerald is assessing his environment, he jokingly declared, "Hey mister, I'm the only black man up here." It seems that this event consisted of many firsts. First, it was the first time that Gerald had been on the top of the mountain. Second, it was the first time that the people outside of our diverse group saw a hiker, a black hiker, in a traditionally white space. The reaction of Gerald on Monadnock is really consistent with some of the most common stereotypes about urban youth and urban youth of color in the outdoors. A few of these: they prefer to stay inside, don't hike or camp, and care little for the natural world. Go to Google and search up people enjoying the outdoors. I did, and I found some of the following images most readily available. So consider whether you see yourself represented in these images. For many of our students, the answer is no. However, our students and their experiences in the Outdoors Club and the many photographs they take challenge these norms, they challenge these stereotypes, and really tell a more inclusive story of people enjoying the outdoors. So my passion and journey, I guess if you will, started in 2003 on the Appalachian Trail. It's a 2,175-mile trail, and I walked every mile of it. From Georgia to Maine. It starts in Georgia, and again it goes all the way across 14 states, finishing up in Maine. And during the course of those 5 million steps, I realized that I really needed a job that provided the time and space to share the things I love with other people. And so I began to teach. And 5 years ago, the club began. We've been running trips ever since. A few years back, Bethanne came with us as a trip chaperone. And very quickly, it was clear that she had a passion and enthusiasm for being outside with our students. And so she and I now co-lead the RHS Outdoors Club.
The mission of the Outdoors Club is to make the outdoors both accessible and meaningful to students who revere, who, as Andrew mentioned, are often underrepresented in the outdoors, who play space and hands-on learning experiences. We have cultivated a diverse community of revered youth who visit a diversity of landscapes within the public lands of Massachusetts and New Hampshire. We see 4 main benefits to taking particularly our urban students outside: challenging stereotypes, social-emotional learning, a sense of belonging and empowerment, and strong relationships.
So I think I know what some of you are thinking. Do I need to start an outdoors club? And the answer is no, but we would like you to consider a couple of entry points here. 1, incorporating being outside into your instructional practice. 2, like always, leveraging the students' voices and their lived experiences in the work that you and we do. And 3rd, how can we actively work for diversity, equity, and inclusion in public education? So, as we already said, one of the great benefits of the Outdoors Club, sorry, my mic is a little low, is the way it can challenge negative stereotypes about our students. So, let's continue with a map here. But Eastern Massachusetts has a rich array of public lands managed by the state, by cities and towns, conservation organizations, and a bunch of other organizations like Audubon, the Trustees, Appalachian Mountain Club, and many others. This map shows the many places that we've gone in Eastern Massachusetts, primarily local trails, local parks, but we've also gone to those farther away big mountains, such as Monadnock, which we'll certainly talk more about. But one of our favorite destinations is the Middlesex Fells. Late this winter, we walked along Bellevue Pond Trail with mud and snow our constant companion. You can see that in the left photo. In December, we traveled to the South Shore this time to go to the Blue Hills to practice our map skills and to climb Great Blue Hill in Blue Hills Reservation. Students weathered the cold in heavy jackets and boots and gloves to enjoy sweeping views of the Boston skyline, and you can see that tower right there in the middle. We kept our sights on the hyper-local in Revere, walking Revere Beach in a snowstorm. So this winter, it seems like it's a bit more fall, but it was quite cold. But at any rate, we walked the trails of Appleton Farms up in Ipswich. While there, we had an epic ultimate frisbee match. All right, it was really fun. But this spring, we visited Ipswich River Wildlife Refuge to identify local flora and fauna, and as well as kind of exploring some of the wetlands that you can see in the photo on the right. So accessing New England's big mountains require early starts, which is not always easy to get teenagers up early on a Saturday morning. But anyway, this fall, 20 teachers and 5 students gathered together to see the fall foliage up in Mount Monadnock, which is about a 2-hour drive away. 3 weeks ago, we set our sights on Mount Greylock, the highest mountain in Massachusetts. Unfortunately, there was clouds everywhere and fog. We had no views whatsoever, but we were there. This is important. This is important. Anyway, we also went to the summit of Mount Cardigan, pictured at the right, and one student recounts, he says, "I loved getting to the top and looking out over the world. The views were amazing, and I will treasure this forever." This past weekend, Bethanne and I joined 12 seniors at Cardigan Lodge for our first camping trip. Students slept in tents, sleeping bags, enjoyed s'mores over a fire, and we bonded over the absolute misery of being swarmed by black flies. But we also were celebrating our 4 years together, the end of our 4 years together. And many of those students were already asking if they could come back and kind of chaperone that next trip as graduating students. Anyway, whether the places we travel to are local or far away, students are actively challenging norms, they're learning new skills, just as Gerald did on the Monadnock, and they're making themselves more visible in the outdoors.
Now let's discuss students' improved emotional well-being. If you talk to any high school student today, you can feel their stress. Between schoolwork, teenage drama, family situations, and planning their futures, they need a break. But unfortunately, they rarely get one. Students have told us that they love these hikes because, in their words, instead of constantly thinking about their stressors, they can just focus on making it to the top of the mountain. They can finally clear their minds and relax. We also know that part of our students' stress comes from their attachment to their phones. While we're on our hikes, we have a no internet policy and just use our phones as cameras to capture memories. For many students, this is one of the only times where they are not connected, in my words, forced to be present. Many students have reflected that they enjoy the disconnection, which is personally reassuring.
So an additional benefit of taking urban youth outside is the way in which we cultivate feelings of belonging and empowerment. Zach notes the following: "I've learned a lot more about myself and how much I love being in nature, away from cities where my worries can disappear. Indeed, experiences like setting up a tent in the hallway of Revere High School, outside of our normal everyday lives, can empower youth to better know themselves within the complex worlds that they inhabit." In his journal, Justin recounts one experience as follows. This is on Monadnock. He says, "There's no way we're getting to the top of that." And as soon as he got to the top of that, to myself, he says, "There's no way we started from all the way down there." The challenges of climbing a mountain are not all that different from the challenges you and I face on an everyday basis. But indeed, a challenging hike can really instill a confidence that can be applied to all facets of our students' lives.
Finally, we found that one of the most rewarding parts of our trips is seeing another side of our students and the relationships students build with each other. In the classroom, I'm sure I'm not alone in saying that I tend to get frustrated with students' behavior towards each other. However, on these hikes, we've witnessed our students' true colors. On our first trip this year at Mount Monadnock, Without our prompting, students cheered each other on when they were tired, warned people behind them of roots and mud, and told each other where to put their hands and feet on the rock scramble. On our hike up Mount Cardigan last weekend, our students first found the visibly upset hiker looking for her dog, and soon after, the dog itself. Without hesitation, they insisted on waiting till the dog and her owner were reunited, even though it meant postponing our own trip to the top. They also gave the dog their own food and water. The transformative effects of student relationships with each other is best shown through one of our freshmen this year. She had wanted to join the club since the beginning of the year, but didn't want to talk with people. This social anxiety stopped her from joining other clubs and sports as well. However, I'd advertised the hikes in class, and with some encouragement, she decided to try one. As fate would have it, the planned hike turned into an optional walk along the beach in a snowstorm, but she decided to come anyway, and to her surprise, she interacted with the group of students and didn't feel awkward or uncomfortable. She cited that this experience gave her the confidence to join her first sports team this spring. Just as students see another side of each other and we see another side of them, students see another side of us. As one student put it, instead of talking about history or math, we actually tell fun stories. After our trips, our students shared their experiences with their friends and families. By sharing these experiences, they help grow the Revere outdoor community. But more importantly, students are putting their stories and perspectives into the outdoor narrative and diversifying the outdoor community as a whole. So, take your students outside. School should be about more than pure academics and test scores. Students are looking for a more well-rounded education. They want to have positive relationships with each other and their teachers. They want to relax and put their phones away. They want to feel that they belong in this world. The Outdoors Club is one way we have found success, and we would love to help you all start one. If you're interested, please note that there is training and funding opportunities to help you. So together, let's build a strong 5DP outdoor community. Thank you.